Happy Sunday, folks. In today's video, we're going to go over the latest Lions news and trade rumors for you folks. Dan Campbell spoke about Hendon Hooker. We're going to take that quote, talk about it really quick. We're going to get into the latest trade rumors as we're getting closer to 53-man roster cuts. Teams tend to trade their back-end players. So could the Lions be trading away a player? Could they acquire a player? We will get into that one, and we're going to get into SI.com's 53-man roster. I'm going to react to their prediction. But let's go ahead and go with Dan Campbell speaking to the media about Hendon Hooker, and this quote is pretty ominous. He says, "Look, it's always going to be how much development do you believe there is," Campbell said. Because, look, we are talking about Hooker right now. How much development do you believe there is? Sometimes does the player need to change of scenery? What about her own depth in other areas? I mentioned this the other day. Relative to that, all right, maybe there is room to grow. Is it worth it for the depth? We need O-line, D-line, receiver, defensive back, and those are all things you have to weigh in. Would you take players over what Hendon Hooker has done this preseason so far? 55% completion, 187 yards, passing, 0 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Does that justify taking a roster spot over a Jackson Meeks, Donna McLovin, Jacob Sailors, Nate Lynn, Isaac Ukwu? Think about that. I wouldn't. Would you just... So that would be the situation. If you go 2 quarterbacks, you look at what Allen did. 79% completion, 401 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Clearly, he won the battle. He is the second-string quarterback. That's Kyle Allen. So is it justifiable to keep 3 per Dan Campbell? No. And then you got to justify to keep him on the practice squad. Is this something that you can see developing? Can he develop more? I don't know. I just don't believe he makes 53-man roster, and what Dan Campbell said pretty much, in my opinion, slams the door shut in Hooker in Detroit. But I got a question for you regardless. Confidence level in the Lions' backup quarterbacks or quarterback when Hendon Hooker is gone. Scale 1 through 10. 1 meaning you're not confident. 10 meaning you're extremely confident. Let's get into trade rumors. Bleacher Report's Alex K says the Lions should trade away Tim Patrick, and been a lot of rumors of that as of late. Why is that? Well, we have a guy named Isaac Tesla who's been doing amazing, and there's other young wide receivers as well. But this is what Alex K says, while the 31-year-old has an injury issues of his own, he's coming off a promising season with the Lions. K wrote, Patrick likely wouldn't cost cash-strapped Bills much, as Detroit has a logjam in the receiving core and might be willing to move on from Patrick for cheap. Moving on from Patrick, though, is not something that you can just easily think about because he does have a nice role on this team. And he is our number 3, and he stayed healthy for the Lions last season. Decent yards. You look at the depth, though, for the Detroit Lions. Here's the thing, because Tim Patrick is 31 years old. His training camp hasn't been the greatest so far. Isaac Tesla has been amazing in training camp and in preseason. I think he has jumped Tim Patrick now. I think he has. So we could probably go ahead and switch this to wide receiver 4 for Tim Patrick. Either way, that's what you got. Then you got Cleve Raymond, Dominic Lovett, and Jackson Meeks. Move him over to wide receiver 7 or 6. Doesn't really matter. Right, this is just showing the wide receivers on the team. Could the Lions go St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Tesla, Raymond, Dominic Lover, and Jackson Meeks, then trade away Tim Patrick? Lovett is a Khalif Raymond clone. Jackson Meeks is a Tim Patrick clone. Isaac Tesla, he's a Tim Patrick clone, but way better. He's a number 1 wide receiver, in my opinion. I say we got 3 number 1s. So the Lions could do that. Now, what is the compensation that Alex K is saying for this trade. He's saying that the Lions receive a 6th-round pick and the Buffalo Bills receive Tim Patrick. Honestly, to be honest with you, that's not a bad trade. Because if the Lions are thinking in their head, look, Jackson Meeks, he could come in here and he really can solidify, that backup role. If there's an injury, Meeks could come in there in a pinch for a Isaac Tesla. And they could say Dominic Lovett could come in here for a pitch for Khalif Raymond. So if you want to keep the 2 young receivers, it's hard to believe that they're going to go 7. So if you got rid of Tim Patrick, that could make sense. But what is the risks of making a move? Well, here is the risk. You'd be relying on an undrafted rookie and a 7th-round pick. But they've showed a lot. Tim Patrick could be expendable. If they believe that Meeks could take that role, I will trust Dan Campbell because I'm starting to really like these receivers. But if they don't, I am perfectly fine with them not trading because I love the depth that we currently have. So that's my opinion here. I'm going to trust Brad Holmes on this one. I don't know what they do, but I'm going to trust it. So question for you. Will the Lions make a trade? Why for yes and for no? Let's get into another trade from Seth Walder from ESPN. It says, we think if the Lions sent a 2026 second-round pick to New York in exchange for Thibideaux, it would do the trick. Fiscally speaking, Thibideaux wouldn't break the bank for Detroit. The Giants picked up the 5th-year option, which locks the 2020 salary just over $14.5 million. That gives an acquiring team 2 years of cost-controlled production at a premium position before even getting to extension talks. This one has always been an intriguing player to me in regarding to trade speculation is Kayvon Thibodeaux because of the compensation. And because he doesn't cost much. He had 14 solo, 14 assists, 28 total, 1 forced fumble, and you can't see it on here, but 5.5 sacks last year. There are some injury concerns as well. So that's what Thibideaux did. That's why it wouldn't cost that much. What is the depth here for the Lions? They could use another edge. We know this. We talked about this at Zadarius Smith and all that. So, Aidan Hutchinson, Davenport, Pascal injured. Al-Qaid Mohammed, he's a reliable player. He's not injured all the time. Ahmed Hassanin, injury is not as bad as we heard. Nate Lynn, who we like. Mitchell Agude, who's done some decent work in preseason, but not much in the regular season from last year. And Isaac Ukwu, who's done pretty, I'd say really good in the preseason with a couple of sacks. But again, got to show itself in the regular season. So they could use another pass rusher if they really wanted to do that. Again, the compensation here was Lions receive Kayvon Thibodeaux, while the Giants get a 2nd-round draft pick. Remember, the Lions don't have a 3rd or 4th right now, so that would leave the Lions in next year's draft with a 1 and a 5th. I don't think the Lions make a trade right now or anything of that nature. So that's why I'm talking about this trade, because this is, to me, probably more of a trade deadline situation. What if there is an injury to Marcus Davenport and he's down before the NFL trade deadline or somebody else? I don't think the Lions would give up a 2nd-round pick. I don't know what it would take. But if the Giants are not doing good, the Lions could make a trade at the NFL trade deadline. That's what I would be looking at, not for anything now. Because the Lions have other options, and I think they like the players that they currently have on their roster. And if they really wanted to, they could get a Zadarius Smith. So that's kind of what I have right on that one. Question for you. How many Lions games have you been to? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's get into John Macarone's 53-man roster prediction really quick here. He's got 2 quarterbacks in Jared Goff, Kyle Allen, and I agree with this one. Hendon Hooker shouldn't be making the roster. By the way, I'll do my 53-man roster. Maybe I'll have it done today, later today. Just FYI. Running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, Craig Reynolds. Injured Sione Vaki. Sees a player he's developed. Yeah, but I don't know if they'll put him on the injury. It just depends what it is. Sailors, if he does get cut, he's going to make another team. He's not going to be making a practice squad. They're going with 7 receivers here. And I'm not going to be upset about it. We just talked about the great depth at receiver. If they want to go 7, all 7 of them deserve to make the roster. Tight ends, Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra. That is exactly what it's going to be. Not even going to continue to talk about it. Offensive linemen, everyone we've been talking about. There is nothing out of the ordinary there. Edge. They're going Aidan Hutchinson, Davenport, Ahmed Hassanin, Al-Qadim Mohammed, and Zadarius Smith. I love it. If this is true, I would be happy. This would be an amazing defensive line pass rushing group. You throw Ukwu on the practice squad. Josh Pascal's the NFI. I'm happy. Ahmed Hassanin, Al-Qadim Mohammed, Zadarius Smith, Aidan Hutchinson, Davenport. That would be pretty damn good. Defensive tackle, DJ Reader, Loy Lopez, Tyleek Williams, Mekhi Wingo, Pat O'Conner. Keith Cooper's been pretty damn good, too. I could see a situation where he is actually here. Linebacker, I love the linebacking room. Perfect. 6, all these guys deserve it. DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson, Avonte Maddox, Khalil Dorsey. He doesn't have Rock Ya-Sin on here. Cornerback, unless he's putting him as safety. Okay, he got him as safety. Okay, that makes sense. All right, that's perfectly fine. And then Jake Bates. That's not a bad. I'll do my 53-man roster relatively soon. What do you guys think? I think this is pretty accurate. Give me your thoughts in the comments below.